Now this is the trailer that we've all been waiting for. What is happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. For today's review, thanks to the amazing team over at ShowZ, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new APC Toys Assault Boxcar, also known as a Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus Prime's trailer. Now for those of you looking to add one of these to the collection, I'll of course be sure to smack a cheeky link down in the description box below, and let's very quickly take a look here at the box art. So straight up, we have a really nice piece of artwork of Prime with that trailer. Just completes the look. As we come around to the back, we get him rolling out alongside RC. We've waited almost a decade for this combo, so very excited to see how this turns out. Let's get the box out of here and actually check out the Assault Boxcar. And here we have the Transformers Prime Optimus Prime's trailer, and it's just so nuts to be reviewing one of these in 2022. This is a trailer design which we haven't seen on screen for well over a decade, and it's a piece that I never thought I'd be able to add to the collection. So let's just get stuck into the details. Now for those who are not too keen on trailers, perhaps you think they're too bulky or take up too much display space, then I don't think this one sadly is going to change your mind. If anything, it may actually put you off the idea even more, as this thing is huge. It's way bigger than any of the other mainline Optimus trailers, which I'll bring out some comparisons for later on. But as we jump into the details, love the way this trailer looks. I mean, I've always been a massive fan of the design. It's very G1 inspired, but again, has that almost anime quality that some of those Prime designs had, and the paintwork is just immaculate. You'll also notice that we do have various different Autobot silhouettes scattered throughout this. As it's third party, they can't actually put the logos on themselves, but we do get included a nice sticker sheet, so I'll be sure to add some of those on after I film the review. Really nice detailings here at the top. Love the way this looks, and the plastic quality on the trailer as a whole feels so much better than their Arachnid that we reviewed a few months back, so that's fantastic. Now as we come here to the underside, again, very nicely sculpted, areas which you perhaps wouldn't even look at, so like the way all this looks. As we come here to the front of the trailer, really nice sculpt work. We even get some kind of hydraulics or suspension here for the support struts, which I thought was a really nice touch. These are retractable, and I'll showcase that more when we actually bring out an Optimus Prime. And as we come around to the back, probably my favourite part about the trailer, and that's something, again, I thought I would never be saying, as I've never been excited for a trailer, but love the way this thing looks. As you guys can see, immaculately painted, as you would expect for something which does cost $50. I mean, this does cost a pretty penny. It's not cheap, unfortunately. I was expecting it to be more in the $30 to $35 realm, but considering there's nothing like this on the market, I guess they can kind of charge what they want until some competitors come out. Now, getting stuck into its features, as you would expect, the trailer doors here can open, and sadly, it does reveal an unpainted interior. Considering the price, it would have been cool had these two been done in metallic silver, but I guess it's not the end of the world. We can actually stow quite a lot away in here, but before we do that, this, unlike the Robosun $700 Prime trailer, actually has a built-in retractable trailer ramp, so really like the way that looks. We get some nice grating detail, which I thought was sweet, and like I alluded to previously, this is a massive trailer, so you can stow a whole bunch of figures in here. So let's bring out a few comparisons. Here we have the trailer compared alongside the Studio Series Voyager Class 86 Ironhide, so this absolutely dwarfs it, as you would expect. Here we have him next to the Netflix Volkswagen Bumblebee, so such a big piece, and all of these can pack into the trailer. So let's just check out how that looks. So we can pack Ironhide in there, store him away for battle, and the same can be said for Bumblebee, and with them both pushed to the back, there is still quite a sizable bit of space in there, so I imagine I could probably add another figure which is a similar size to Ironhide in here, and it wouldn't be a problem. Your only issue is going to be kind of the width and the height. If anything's too high, it's not going to go in there, and of course if it's too chunky, it's also not going to fit, and much like any of the other trailers, it does open, so we can open that up, and again, you can kind of see how much excess space we have, even with Ironhide and Bumblebee packed in there. And just to take a look at the details, it's basically what you would expect. I mean, if you've got the Masterpiece version of Optimus Prime, then the trailer detail is pretty much identical. Now, whilst we've got this open, we're going to talk about weapon storage. So if you picked up any of those first edition Optimus Prime reissues that they've been putting out, you can stow away all of the accessories in the trailer as well as on the underside, and I'll showcase that more in just a second. But the main accessory that you're going to want to pack in here would be the Star Saber. Now, as you may tell, we do get this tiny little cutout here towards the kind of end of the blade, and that is simply just going to slide into a little slot here, so we can smack that in there, and that is storage for the Star Saber. So let's close all this up, snapping everything here into place, as well as the trailer ramp, and this is where you're going to want to come to this section. So what's going to happen is we're going to slide this component here out, set the trailer here off to the side, and there's a massive cavity. Now, you could basically pack anything in here that you'd want, but there are some specific slots, so you're going to want to make sure that the iron blasters are fully stowed away like this. We can then utilize this tab snap them in there. We can now bring in the Energon blades. These are going to slide inwards and snap into some tabs here, just like that, and they're all of Prime's weapons, so they can pack away in the trailer, or alternatively, like I said previously, you can peg them into any of the MechTech ports that we have within, and it does slide and store away everything. So let's actually bring out some Optimus Primes and see how this trailer looks alongside some of them. So first up, of course, here we have first edition Optimus Prime. I've particularly picked out the chrome redeco as I love the way this one looks here in vehicle mode, and as you would expect, we'll take these sections here, slide them in to get this ready for battle, and we do get the trailer port here. Now there are two configurations. This one is the animation accurate position, so it's slightly closer to Optimus in terms of the way it looks, but with that configuration you can't really get a good range of him actually rotating left to right, so that's where you can basically take this here, extend it, and whilst the trailer does sit slightly further away from the cab, it does allow for a much greater range of motion. I mean, as you guys can see, we can get this in any way that we want, and that really does look fantastic. I mean, how cool is that? Or alternatively, it does also work with a few other primes. So here I have the Studio Series Bayverse version, so let's just see how these pair next to each other. So there you go. And also, let's check it out alongside the Bumblebee movie version. And this in particular, I think, is such a striking look. I mean, how awesome is that? That is just so sick. Sadly, it doesn't work with any of the Generations versions. So here I have Scourge. It does just sit slightly too high up. So, for example, as you can see, the actual trailer port is quite close to where the arms are, and there just isn't enough clearance for that to actually lock into place, as this does stick out. And even with this section fully pulled forward, it's just not going to go in there. The same can also be said with the Earthrise Optimus. Again, that port is just a little too high up. And the same can also be said here for the Netflix Siege version. But I guess you could rest it there, and in terms of a display, if you just had it on the shelf, it wouldn't look too bad at all. And here for a quick truck and trailer comparison, we have, of course, the first edition Optimus with his APC trailer, but here we have him next to Earthrise Prime, and like I said previously, I mean, look how short and stubby this is in comparison to the Transformers Prime version. It is massive, so before you actually bite the bullet and purchase this, definitely just make sure you have enough shelf space, as this is quite a long piece, but really loving the way this looks. And in terms of an impression and a presence it has, so cool. And here is something that I thought you guys may appreciate. This is a different display option, so you can display it upright. Maybe if you don't have a lot of shelf space going outwards and you have a little more going upwards, you can prop it up, similar to how Hasbro displays some of the G1 trailers and almost repair bay or an armory. It does work, but again, just make sure that you do have enough shelf space going upwards, as this thing doesn't even fit in the full frame of my camera and towers over the first edition Voyager Optimus. And wrapping up on this review for the APC Toys Assault Boxcar trailer for Optimus Prime based on Transformers Prime. It looks fantastic. The painting and the sculpting on it looks identical to how it appeared on the show. It's such a massive piece that when paired alongside Optimus in truck mode, they just look so cool. They demand so much shelf presence, which brings me on to my next point. I would only recommend this if, one, you're a huge fan of Transformers Prime, as this thing does cost $50, and two, you have the space to actually accommodate this. It's way bigger when in comparison to any of the more recent mainline trailers that we've seen from Hasbro, so if you weren't too keen on the size or kind of the heft of the Earthrise version, then you're absolutely not going to like this, as the trailer just on its own is huge, and then you account for Optimus, it's going to take up quite a big amount of space. But again, $50, I personally would have been a little more happy had it been around the $30 to $35 mark, as there's no transformation, there's no real engineering, and you could probably pick up a mainline leader on the market for a similar price to what this is currently going for. But it is the only version of this trailer, at least to my knowledge, that is out there on the market, and I think it's unlikely that any other design team are going to pick this up. I'd really love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you are after picking this up, be sure to check out the links down in the description box below, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.